Welcome to this presentation. My name is Peter Mullins, and today we'll look at how SilkPerformer CloudBurst can help you to ensure that the applications that run your business can support the intense loads that they operate under. The presentation will run approximately 15 minutes, and for more information, please visit microfocus.com. Thousands or even millions of partners, customers, and employees engage with your company every day via the applications that you develop and test. So these systems must perform as expected and be accessible when needed. But your applications are under massive stresses. Growing volumes of customers access your systems at peak times of the day, season, or at discrete events like following a major marketing promotion. And it's not just the volume of users that leads to higher demand on your applications. There's also increased application complexity. Today's Web 2.0 applications, which are designed to be more responsive to users, can be highly resource intensive. This compounds the effects of increased demand. When your application is subject to sudden spikes or sustained usage volumes, it can behave in unexpected ways. The system may crash or become too slow to use. It could be inaccessible as customers compete for access. Regardless, it leads to frustrated users and potentially lost business. And every moment that the application is inaccessible is potentially millions of dollars in lost revenue. Development and quality assurance teams have long recognized this challenge. This led to a wave of essential tooling and methodologies that test application performance under peak loads. Typically, this approach involves deploying internally managed computing resources to simulate large numbers of users. These virtual users replicate real-world client behaviors, letting managers quickly spot risk points and points of failure. However, traditional performance tests can face challenges. First, the costs of operating large data centers are substantial. There are heating, cooling, electricity, and staff costs. There are the costs of upgrading software, hardware, and communication tools, and this rising cost can become unsustainable as you test higher and higher volumes of users. Second, your users may be spread around the world and may access your applications through terminals and the internet. This means that you need the flexibility to test from multiple international locations and to test enterprise applications that have multiple interface points with users. Third, you must ensure that your applications are battle-ready and can withstand massive global usage. This requires that you can simulate massive loads, but the infrastructure that you have in place is often insufficient to test for large numbers of users. Fourth, the traditional model for global peak load testing requires a significant upfront investment. Hardware and software licenses must be acquired and configured correctly. That requires advanced planning and budgeting to ensure that you have the necessary resources. It also means that you may over-provision load testing licenses when you only conduct large load tests periodically. Increasingly, companies are looking to the cloud as a way to improve IT performance. Imagine being able to focus the power of the world's largest data centers onto your computing needs, just when you need it most. That's what the cloud provides. It's a virtual set of computing resources that can be securely accessed via the internet. And now, through SilkPerformer CloudBurst, you can apply the power of the cloud to peak load testing. SilkPerformer CloudBurst lets software quality teams rapidly launch any size peak load performance test without the burden of managing complex infrastructures. Now you can test and diagnose internet-facing applications under immense global peak loads. Users define the number of virtual users required for a given test and schedule the computing resources necessary. They match the geography of these computing instances with plans, and they define the scripts that will be used to simulate user behavior. These scripts are then accessed by the cloud-based test agents and run on a performance testing schedule. Managers can monitor tests and efficiently locate and diagnose where performance issues arise in their applications, a critical step for any test manager. Now let's take a look at the key advantages of SilkPerformer CloudBurst for you. Built on Micro Focus Enterprise Cloud Services, you can easily scale the needed computing power for tests with 50,000 to 100,000 to 200,000 virtual users and beyond. You can simply schedule time for a test and resources are automatically provisioned. This avoids testing bottlenecks and prevents long delays as internally managed hardware is acquired and set up. The global nature of the Micro Focus solution lets you place virtual users in a variety of locations to test international performance. No longer do you need to maintain test hardware in a variety of countries in order to test effectively. Not all cloud providers or test solutions can provide this capability, so it's key to evaluate if global readiness is a requirement for you. Today's applications are often developed as dynamic and highly interactive Web 2.0 applications. These rich internet applications require special testing in order to access functionality developed in Ajax, Silverlight, and Flex, among other technologies. Simple application testing is no longer sufficient because the background interactions and richness of the client side are so great. This is well suited to cloud-based testing as it requires more computing power to perform these more complex tests. However, very few solutions are sufficiently mature to handle the dynamism of this style of application. SilkPerformer CloudBurst, however, provides the market-leading solution for testing Web 2.0 applications. Now you can exercise even very complicated, rich Internet applications using the SilkPerformer CloudBurst solution. SilkPerformer CloudBurst lets users efficiently manage their tests, configuring, starting, stopping, and monitoring their tests from a single powerful management tool. Also, when dealing with cloud-based solutions, it's important to minimize the required management effort. SilkPerformer CloudBurst takes advantage of Micro Focus Enterprise Cloud Services to provide a single vendor and solution for cloud-based testing. No additional vendors to manage avoids slowdown in the testing process. Also, because applications are often a mix of internet and internally facing front ends, they're often more complex to test. You'll often develop a set of scripts to test applications in these mixed modes, and significant effort can be expended when your team is engaged in developing, maintaining, and refining multiple sets of scripts. Teams should investigate solutions that encourage the reuse of scripting resources, and that's what SilkPerformer CloudBurst provides. The elasticity of SilkPerformer CloudBurst means you can scale computing resources up or down as needed. So, if your test requires 100,000 virtual users one day and 200,000 the next, then you only pay for those resources that you booked. In a traditional model, you'd have to acquire the computing power to support 200,000 users for both days. This not only keeps costs down, but also helps to improve budgeting, as you can better predict and keep usage within predicted levels. But what happens if you schedule, say, a 100,000 virtual user test and the application fails as it approaches 40,000 virtual users? Micro Focus helps through its virtual user price protection, letting you pay just for what you use. While many applications today are entirely browser-based, that's often not the case for large enterprise applications. For instance, a bank's core banking application will likely have a hybrid model. Part will be browser-based internet banking, and part will be accessible only via bank tellers' terminals. This means you need to test both routes to your system for completeness. An approach that relies solely on cloud-based testing will be lacking, since it needs to access the application via internet protocols. As a result, it's important to determine upfront whether a mixed model that combines internet protocols with support for .NET, Java, Oracle, SAP, Siebel, COM, and other enterprise application protocols is necessary. Unlike Micro Focus solutions that have provided enterprise application coverage for years, cloud-only vendors have less experience. This can be a major concern as you evaluate vendors, and you should ensure that the testing technologies are indeed robust, and also that there are sufficient resources at your preferred vendor to support you through your testing process. Merely discovering that your application failed under peak loads is clearly not enough. You want to discover why it failed and how to correct it. While this may seem obvious, diagnostic tools are often excluded from testing solutions. This is often the case when cloud-based peak load tests are operating against an application you manage in-house. Cloud-based tooling on its own cannot analyze the internal behavior of the application under test, and this can mean that the applications may be incompletely repaired following tests, increasing the risk of real-world failure. It's more effective to combine the power of cloud-based testing with on-the-ground diagnostics of your application performance, like you receive in SilkPerformer with SilkPerformer CloudBurst. SilkPerformer CloudBurst is a member of the SilkPerformer family of products. As a result, it gives development and quality teams continuous quality assurance. The family combines to do so through integrated root cause diagnosis to locate and correct quality issues that could impair business stability, through continuous performance testing that allows development organizations to quickly correct quality issues before they advance through the development lifecycle, through Web 2.0 client emulation to ensure that even today's rich internet applications are effectively tested, and also through the simulation of peak demand loads through on-site and cloud-based resources to give you scalable, powerful, and cost-effective solutions for peak load testing. SilkPerformer CloudBurst provides the richest, most powerful solution for ensuring that your applications can handle peak loads. With the technology, you can ensure that your applications are able to handle massive loads and large spikes of usage from around the world. Take control of the testing process, reuse existing SilkPerformer assets, and monitor the results of your tests. You can reduce the costs of testing and avoid overpaying for resources you didn't use. You can support even sophisticated Web 2.0 applications, and, with the SilkPerformer family, cover even large and complex applications that are internet-facing and internally facing. And you gain access to leading diagnostic technologies that help you locate and correct software issues before they become business issues. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. For more information, please visit microfocus.com.